A strategy plan is an essential tool that renders an organization a clear roadmap to the realization of its mission and vision. In this regard, Zesco Limited launched its strategy plan for the year 2022 to 2031. The document was unveiled to its employees on the 1st of February 2023. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to another informative and exciting episode of Malaiti Talk with Zesco. With me, your host, Chimomolungu. If you're watching us for the first time, this is Malaiti Talk with Zesco. Do not hesitate to get in touch with us with the information that is scrolling down on your screen. This week on the program, we had an opportunity to talk to Engineer Victor Benjamin Mapani, the Zesco Managing Director. We were discussing the Zesco strategy plan that was launched on 1st of February 2023. Stay tuned.
It is a good thing from us, the stakeholders, in that at least we know what the direction of the company, and even in terms of expectations, now we know to say this is what will be done in such and such a year. I think there's been an outcry, and for me, who is a CEO, I want to say, these strategic plans are very cardinal, they're very important. When you're running an organization, there's some kind of a meter, or maybe some kind of, they set the tone for the organization.
We are hoping that at least we can have a sustained period where we will not have the issues of load shedding coming in every now and then, especially during rain season. So for us as stakeholders who are in the small and medium-sized enterprises, we are welcoming this information, and we hope that Zesco can engage us more as stakeholders, and just continue to provide us on milestones and other achievements that they would have along the way.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned. Now, if you're just joining us, this is Malaiti Talk with Zesco. Our guest on tonight's episode is the Zesco Managing Director, Engineer Victor Benjamin Mapani. Now, our main topic of discussion for this week is the strategy plan that was launched by the company Zesco for the year 2022 to 2031. Engineer, sir, thank you so much for joining us on Malaiti Talk.
Thank you very much, Chimoni.
We really do appreciate you making time to have this discussion with us, the Zesco customers.
Thank you very much. We need to be in touch with our customers, to more friends.
Thank you. Now, on 1st February 2023, the company Zesco unveiled its strategy plan for the year 2022 to 2031. Briefly highlight the main essence of the strategy plan.
Thank you very much, Chimoni. The main essence of the strategy plan is basically to have a document that guides the way we're going to navigate our way through for the next 10 years. It's a Zesco strategy plan, 10-year rolling. It is a live document, and so every year we'll review to update it, adjust it, without diverting from the main pillars of the plan. The plan is basically aimed at getting Zesco to become the best service provider we can ever have here. That is our goal in this sector. Yes.
So what are the main objectives highlighted in the strategy plan?
The main objectives basically are the 5 pillars in the strategy plan. The strat plan is based on the 5 pillars, and these 5 pillars we believe are going to get us to a better Zesco, to serve the Zambian people better. The first pillar is the customer centricity. We would like to be at the center of all customer needs as far as the electricity and, if possible, even the energy solutions that we hope to provide along with electricity are concerned. So the 5 pillars are all aligned in there. So customer centricity is number 1. And the second one is financial sustainability. We cannot do anything without financials. All our businesses are dollar related. Our transactions in terms of maintenance, plant equipment upgrades, and extension and expansion almost 80% of our inputs into project expansion, system sustainability are dollar related. So we have to be financially sustainable, both at home and abroad. We have to compete at that level. The third one is to ensure that we expand, extend the power network itself through the value chain, through generation, transmission of power, and distribution of the power to our people. Now, the generation portfolio must meet the demand, which is the people who actually draw the power. That is the third pillar. Once we have expanded the network, we go to the fourth pillar, which is maintenance. We want to ensure that we engage into serious maintenance. I heard some talk about Zesco poles falling all over the place when it rains. Yes, because they haven't been maintained in the last 7 years, I can say, because the lifespan of a wooden pole is minimum 7 years. So if poles are rotten all over the place, it means for the last 7 years, nobody has touched them. So it's basics, it's a no-brainer. So we have to start putting in a maintenance regime that's going to curb that. With those 4 pillars standing, we need human capital. So we need to realign our human capital, optimize the structures to meet the 4 specific items I mentioned above. So those are the 5 pillars of the structure.
So in monetary terms, what is the projected investment that is required to actually actualize the strategic plan?
Our initial cost estimates, of course, these are just cost estimates forecasting. We can only be precise maybe in this year and the following year because prices do change and things actually do also move a bit. But our initial cost estimates sit around about $6.3 billion in the next 10 years. Of that, about 60% is in generation, which is the major component. Yes.
It is written in public domain, MD, that at present, Zesco's financials are not very good. So how then are you going to manage to actualize the strategic plan? Where are you going to get the finances as a corporation?
Okay, so what it is that the first thing that you do is Zesco as an electricity company, there's no way it should be bankrupt. It's either you mismanage it or you just fail to run it. There's no power company that should be broke because the business model is straightforward. Generate power, buy power at a reasonable price, sell it at a reasonable price to be able to maintain the network, expand it, and service the people. There is no way it should be broke. So the only reason why lenders still giving money to Zesco, even in its state, is because they know it's possible to do it. So in our strat planning as a new management, what we did was first to look at the extent of this debt, break it down into its natural form, see where which debt sits, how and how did it come about. And we discovered that most of this debt is actually manageable. So the first thing that we did was to prove to ourselves that actually this debt can be arrested. The debt now is arrested for all areas. We are no longer increasing the debt. Independent power producers form the largest component of the debt. Of the 2.9 billion, 1.7 billion was the debt as at 31st December 2021. By the end of 2022, we had reduced that debt by over $500 million through negotiations, new tariffs, restructuring the way we do business, changing the model, getting a bit of money here and there. We are now able to pay all the independent power producers full invoices. Mamba, we pay full invoice, $18.5 million a month. Iteji, we pay a full invoice, $5.4 million a month. Dollar Energy, we pay them a full invoice, $4.25 million a month. The 2 other smaller ones, $500,000 for Bangwehulu, another $490,000 for Ngoni. We pay them. The question you may ask me is, where did the money come from? Because we haven't got yet any tariff increase. It's basically reorganizing, thinking and planning and putting things in the right perspective. So cost saving is one of the major issues that we have. So where is the money coming from? It's doing business diligently. And we do believe that now that everybody has seen that the tariff is not cost reflective, we've now applied for a 5-year multi-year tariff. That 5-year multi-year tariff application is tied to the required investment for generation, transmission, and distribution. So where will you get the money from? It's just from the tariff. There's no other source. The source is just the tariff, and it's the customers. But that tariff must be bearable. That's basically where Zesco gets its money from. So with a plan in place, any lender will come and give you the money because they can see that you are clear in your plan and you are executing the things you said you're going to do. So that's where we are. So yes, we'll get the money from the business model, which is the tariff.
You have actually talked about doing business diligently. So on Zesco's business transformation journey, you have actually scored some major successes in the last 1 year. And briefly highlight some of these successes. And does that serve as a benchmark for more successes to come in the years?
The corporate management or corporate leadership team that is there in place now has been at this matter. We have a very good team, and teamwork, which is basically one of our values. Okay, you will hear that component when we talk about the strat plan. Teamwork is one of our values. We put everything on the table, dissect it, and plan on it. So the successes are many. Getting a team to start doing business differently was the first step. And the team we have now at Zesco is good. They have come up with all these solutions which we have. So getting a team in place is one. That process is still ongoing. We still do have people who don't actually believe what we are doing is right. They don't actually believe that we are paying these IPPs fully. They go around to check and investigate, and the answer is yes. Okay, so successes. We have renegotiated the tariffs with independent power producers to what we believe should be the correct and also to what the models should speak to. So this has been done. Why wasn't this done before? Chimama, I don't know. I don't know why the tariff for HHDs was left at 11 cents for the last 8 years. I don't understand. And that's the first thing we cracked. And we brought it down to 5.46, which even that is still being contested. We believe it can come down a little bit more. Mamba the same. We sat down with Mamba, we looked at the numbers, brought down the tariff from 13 to 9.06 cents. That reduction alone saves Zesco about $8 million monthly. For ITPC, saving close to $6 million monthly. Okay? And then of course we went further, we reactivated the CEC bulk supply agreement, which was dead for 2 years. Again, why was it dead? I honestly don't know. But for us, we saw it as a business opportunity, jumped at it and executed it, and it's now working. We are trading with CEC very, very smoothly. We didn't close our eyes to what was there, we opened our eyes further. There was a yawning market in Namibia, we opened up that, and increased our exports into Namibia because the exports are the only funds that actually keep Zesco afloat. The local tariffs have very little input. So the exports into Botswana, the export into Zimbabwe, the export into Namibia. 100 megawatts into Zimbabwe now, we can do it. 80 megawatts extra we did into Botswana, another 8 into Namibia. Those three alone give us not less than $25 million a month. Just 3 customers, $25 million a month. So it was quite amazing to see that some businessmen, or indeed some politicians who don't actually see beyond tomorrow, thought that drawing back exports, putting back exports, it was a solution in the load shedding. No, it's not. Far from it. We must think ahead. Zambia is going to be a hub of power. So we must keep the markets alive. When we grow our generation portfolio, the market must be there. We should be able to. We have the resources in Zambia. So we should see beyond tomorrow. And if you are going to be a leader, you're going to show competence, to show the nation where to go, you better start thinking big. A lot of people are thinking small. In Zesco, we think big. And we're not going to be deterred by people who do not see tomorrow. We see tomorrow and not now.
Restructuring Zesco ND into a commercially viable utility is actually anchored on 2 main pillars. So the first one being human capital optimization, and the second one being a changed corporate culture into one that is focused on customer satisfaction. What is Zesco's new core ideology?
Zesco's new core ideology covers that as well. So we talked about optimizing manpower. We are doing that. Change culture is a process that we're continually going to be engaged in. We're going to get a lot of experts to help us change culture. The culture right now in Zesco, we believe they are entitled to doing things business as usual. We are gone. We are moving on. So we don't want to leave anybody behind. We're going to engage experts to help us get there. The core ideology for Zesco basically is to have a good vision, a mission, which should permeate, the two should permeate down to the lowest employee in the organization. The mission and the vision talk about providing an efficient service to our customers, basically summarized. The mission and the vision, they talk to that. And of course, the core ideologies. I talked about teamwork, it's one of them. Integrity is one of the things that you do. What you say is what you do. You do not say one thing and go the other way. So far, everything that we've talked about, we have done. And that for us is a big win. We have also customer centricity. Customer centricity is big. So everything that we do should set around about the customer. Even this interview is talking about customers. To ensure that customers get comfort, that Zesco is doing something for them tomorrow. Today's pain should be tomorrow's joy. And the pain went through I go back to the 28 or 27 days of load shedding. That is really nothing. It's 28 days out of 365 days in a year. It's better to have those days and have electricity the entire year than, for example, drain the lake. The water shortage in the Lake Kariba is not something that Zesco generated. This is a hydrological issue, and we believe that we can do better. We have now learned that we cannot rely entirely on Zambezi River Authority. That we have learned, and we're going to put our measures in place to ensure that Zambezi River Authority does see what we see. We're going to also install our own measurement instruments to ensure that we are not derailed, and we can also be a second eye into Zambezi River Authority. The water management in the Kariba is not a today's issue, it's a yesterday's issue. When that dam and that lake were first put in place in the late 50s into the 60s and finally commissioned in the late 60s, the Kariba complex was supposed to be generating 1,200 megawatts, 1,260 megawatts to be specific. 660 megawatts in the South Bank, which is now Zimbabwe, 600 megawatts in the North Bank, which is Zambia. Over the years, ideas came. Let us expand power generation at the Kariba complex. Zambia went ahead and expanded that by first refurbishing the first 4 machines, increasing their capacities from 150 megawatt each to 180 megawatt each, increasing the capacity from 600 to 720. Step number 1. Step number 2, Zambia went ahead and extended its power station by 360 megawatts. Now, the design of the extension is meant only for peaking loads. What do I mean? When the loads are high, like evening from 18 hours to 20 hours, that's when you run those machines. Ideally, Kariba North Bank extension should run for 3.5 hours every day, maximum. Just 3.5 hours. But if we go back from 2014, when the power station was commissioned, the number of hours has been a lot more. Kariba South Bank went ahead and did exactly a similar thing, expanded the power station. And they also were running it like almost a normal run of the river power station. When you do that, you deplete the waters. It's not a brainer. It is a basic issue. The extensions of the South Bank and North Bank should be left to peaking power only. Anything extra, you deplete the water. And that's what we found. This year, we had the lowest water level ever in the creation of the Kariba. 10 centimeters above the intake. It's almost close to committing a crime. Meanwhile, the maximum level between the intakes and the height of that should be 13 meters or 1,300 centimeters. We had 10 centimeters, 10, which is 1 out of 130. That's less than 1%, just in height. So we do believe that there is need to manage the Kariba complex and the water very well. So in the core ideology, the customer comes first. Generation, transmission, distribution. So if we don't have generation, the customer will suffer. If we don't have transmission, the customer will suffer. So customer centricity is a big core ideology. Teamwork, I talked about it already. Innovation is one thing that we are doing. For example, these measurements we are going to put on the rivers, both the Kafue, enhance them, and also on the Zambezi. We're going to do even a lot more there, so that Zambezi River Authority becomes a partner in managing the resource, the water resource. We believe we can do better. We found the lake. We came in 2021, December. The lake was already way below half of its capacity and height. So no magic there. You have to be intentional to actually grow that height in the lake. And the last but not least, innovation. We are doing other things. For example, we are now able to transact a lot more on the electronic platforms. Customers don't need to walk into a center, but there are those who would love to work in a center. We still do have centers. There's nothing wrong with that, but we do believe that you can do most of your business from your phone, from the website. We can reach you out on the phone, and also mobile on the phone. We can manage that, including meter reading. We are going further. The commercial customers and industrial customers who actually read meters on a monthly basis, we will stop all that. We've gone into a contract with a company from Slovenia, which has this robust meter, which is supplying a lot of meters in Europe, and their meters are good and they are also reliable. We believe that we will now be able to read meters while we sit in our offices electronically, generate the bills electronically. The customer also can access our system and generate their own bill electronically, because we're using the same database. So that is an innovation. It's a huge step. Instead of every first week of the month we send over 100 or so vehicles throughout the country to read meters, all those vehicles will just sit back, people will sit down and read the meters. That's a great innovation. Further, we want to proceed with the issue of monitoring our forts crews and maintenance teams. When a forts crew is dispatched, we should be able to see on a map exactly where they are, how far they are from the fort, just like Uber, just like Uber. You can tell where Uber is just by checking on your phone. Why can't we do it? We are already working on it. We've started. Our ICT team is very good. We have a group of young innovators, young engineers who have brought stuff which you can actually just get amazed at, and they are busy working. And we want to motivate them to continue doing that. So be able to monitor where the nearest fort crew is to that fort. Eventually, by year 2 or year 3 from now, a customer should be able to say, who has been dispatched to me, it's vehicle so. I go and check it, and I'll be able to see where it is, how far it is from me. So then nobody will tell you that I'm in ShopRite in Chilenje when they're actually in ShopRite in Makeni. Because now it's easy. Someone just says, I'm on my way to Makeni, I'm actually at ShopRite in Makeni, Cosmopolitan, when actually the person is in Matero. But that will all end. That is not a one-day job. It is something that we're working on, and we see it's feasible, and we are going for it. Several other innovations are going to happen. We've continued to have our virtual meetings. What COVID did, it not only destroyed us, it also made us. We're able now to have meetings virtually, continuously. You don't need to be in the office physically to have a meeting. Even when you're abroad, you can attend a meeting. And we do not stop progress. We continue to go. So innovation is a big one good value that we have. Teamwork, I've talked about it already. And of course, we do have a serious challenge on safety, health, and environment. Early this year, we lost an employee. That employee was certified to be an authorized person. But the type of accident he was involved in, a person who is senior authorized should not be involved in such an accident. It means there's something we are missing, maybe in the training, maybe in the way we are certifying people. We have now embarked on a program to ensure that we record 0 deaths especially from the trained people. It is going to be a rigorous training. It is going to be a training that is deliberately aimed at ensuring that our employees know that our product is dangerous. And we want to also make sure this message permeates to our customers. When we say keep everything treated as live, even if you are off, we mean just that. Because electricity is silent. It doesn't talk when it comes. And we believe that should happen. So that is our core ideology in brief.
You actually talked about the low water levels at the Kariba Dam. And this actually resulted in a load management exercise. MD, is that a key investment area for Zesco? And how soon are we going to start seeing movements in that area?
That is very correct, Shimani. I just indicated to you that our generation portfolio in terms of funding sit around about 3.9 billion, which is about 60% of the total 6.4 billion. So we are very clear with that investment. Some of that investment will be brought in by investors, not ourselves. They will bring in the money, put up the plants, and sell us the power. And that's it. Where we partner with them, it is a bonus. But we would like to encourage private investment into this country in the energy sector. We look forward to a time when Zesco should be able to offload shares in generation on the stock exchange. We are going there. We are going there. For example, if we do buy off one independent power producer and we believe that our balance sheet is not good enough, we should put that on the market. Zesco will run the plant for the public, but the public will own the plant. Simple. So we are going to expand the generation portfolio. The immediate 2,000 megawatt solar coming in from Mazda of the UAE in Abu Dhabi is a big one. We signed it off last month, and we believe that you're going to see some actions on that. Away from that, Zesco also has engaged at least 3 independent power producers who also will start making some progress in terms of investment. 150 megawatts, 50 megawatts each at 3 different sites. We are not closing the doors. Sky Power is knocking on the door. Very soon we'll be signing off with Sky Power. 1,000 megawatts of solar, done 200 megawatts every year, next 5 years. That is their plan, and our doors are wide open. We are not stopping. There are assets in this country which have been dormant for a long time. In the Luapula and northern provinces, we have a lot of waters. Case in point, Zesco has already today a complete feasibility study for a site called Kalungisha. 244 megawatts of plant. It's been dormant for years. Different entities were given to develop this, some from as far back as 2014, 2005. Nothing has happened. 17 years later, we are still talking about massive resources, massive natural resources, but that's not helping. Talking about it is not a solution. It's doing. And we believe in doing things. We have a belief that if government releases that asset to us, we shall partner with different people to actually develop it. Whether we own it 50% or own 10%, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the resource must produce for the Zambian population. That's basically what we need. And everyone must benefit. Yes.
And MD, Zesco being a public utility, how well aligned is your strategy plan at Zesco in line with the stakeholders' developmental agenda?
We looked at the common areas of concern. We know that we can't run a strat plan away from the government's agenda. We have to run it in line with the government progressive plan. The integrated resource plan is one of them. The Electricity Act of 2019 is one of them. The strategic plan is aligned to that. The 8th National Development Plan is in it. So our strat plan covers all those big items. So our strat plan does not sit alone as an island. It sits right in the circle of the National Development Plan. It's very well aligned.
So what should the Zesco customers and the stakeholders expect from the strategic plan?
What the Zesco customers want to see or feel is to walk to that wall on a switch, turn it on and the light come on. They want to go to the stove, turn it on and the stove is on. Go to their television, switch it on and they can watch news. Turn on the aircon and blows the air that they want at whatever temperature they want. This customer is not interested in what generation is happening in Kariba. I don't think that's their role. They want to see the product. We want to see a satisfied customer. So in the next 4 years, 3 to 4 years, the real actionable reality will come. A lot of work happens the first year, the planning, the planting of the locations of the plant, planting in the poles, extending the network. The customer may be seeing 1 or 2 things, poles are still falling because they get rotten, by the way, not in 1 year. I said this before. It's 7 years. So the new management has nothing to do with poles that got rotten in numbers a few years ago, right? Those that should have been rotting now should have been looked at last year or the other year, but they were not. So they are made. So the Zesco customer should be able to see real results 10 of 2023, hopefully, but mid 2024, definitely. In terms of energy harnessing, 2024 mid, definitely. But we are hoping that some people work a bit faster. They have promised that some can do these jobs in less than 8 months. We are yet to see. We'll give them the platform, we won't stop them. We'll let them run. But we do know that a Zesco customer, once they walk to that wall, turn on the lights, they come on. Turn on the pump, it's on. Get their water from the borehole or boost it. That's all the Zesco customer wants to see. And our role is to ensure that happens. That's all we need to do. So we do believe that there will be, of course, some bit of pushback here and there in this year. The anxieties are high, the expectations are high. We are up to it, but we are not going to promise something that's not tangible. We cannot build a power station, for example, in 1 year. A hydropower station, the answer is no, it can't be done. It's not possible. No one has ever done it. And we don't even have the technology to do it. We don't even have the resource to do it. So, concrete dries in a certain time. The dam dries only in a certain time. You can't fast track that. The laws of science can't allow you to do that. If I tell you to say, look, Chimeme, here is $1 million, build me a house in 1 day, you can't do it. It's not possible. There is something that must happen before the first brick is laid, and then the next brick. There is no way you can build a house of mortar and brick in a day, irrespective of how much money you have. The science does not allow, at least not now. Because even when you build the wall, you can only build so many lines in a day. You have to let the mortar settle and do the following day, and the following day. So there are building blocks that you can't jump. So the Zesco customers' anxieties are high, but we believe by mid-2024, the results will show. The results will show. Kafia got lower. The construction started long time ago. We're just finishing off now. There's no magic, no myth, no miracle, no witchcraft, nothing. It's just logic. So customers should not expect magic. We don't have it. We just have technical and engineering solutions. That's what we put on the table.
Talking about building a house in 1 day empty, give us a picture. How does the Zesco of tomorrow look like?
Zesco of tomorrow in tomorrow, not the day after today. Because you journalists are interesting. Because you think that I say that tomorrow this will happen. Tomorrow as in the future.
Yes.
I think we look at Zesco, which is able to deliver a service to an acceptable level. We are putting in place very soon rapid responses, squads. I think there's a unit which is coming on board. We've recruited 30 young graduates who have aimed to be trained as managers. We have a lack of managers. We have a lot of people who sit down to be told what to do, but we want to get people to become managers. We do have a vision that the Zesco of tomorrow will be an interesting corporation to work for. It will be an interesting corporation to look out for service delivery, and that this service will be at your doorstep. We look out for a Zesco which is financially sustainable. We should be able to walk into any bank, knock down any wall, and say, hey, we are here. We need this support. Gap us 2 years, we can do ABCD. As I speak to you right now, Chama and Lundazi, we finalized the financial agreement. That project, a line was done over 2 years ago and it's just hanging there. The backbone line is done, but the substation is not. How do you do that? The planning was fragmented. We have now collected the planning. We formed a new directorate of planning and projects, which now looks at the entire picture of a project from start to end, not planning in a fragmented manner. By now, the people of Chama and Lunda should have had electricity, but there was no serious plan on putting the substations. It wasn't there. If it was, it didn't work. That's why the substations are not there. I mean, look, this has nothing to do with with whether there was money or not. There was a plan, but that plan did not deliver. So we would like to have plans that actually yield results and satisfy the customers. Our mandate is to deliver electricity services and some energy solutions to our customers. That's what we are doing. So the Zesco of tomorrow, we believe, should be financially sustainable, motivated staff, and also a company that is willing to let go that which you can let go because it's not core business. We focus on core business so that we do it better.
And talking about expectations being high, our expectations as Zesco customers are actually very, very high. What special message do you have in closing to the Zesco customers for the year 2023, because we're just starting out the year?
Year 2023, our Zesco customers, we ask you to be patient with us. We are dealing with a backlog of maintenance. We can assure you we have budgeted and embarked on a robust maintenance plan this year. So the inconvenience of you being shut down so that we can replace those poles you are complaining about that are falling all over the place, maintain substations, maintain transformers, will be a bit irritating, but it's better you suffer this little pain of shut down 3, 4, 5 days, maybe in the week, then you're done. It's better to tolerate us to do that. Because if you don't do it, again, poles will be falling all over the place next month. Not all the poles will be replaced, but we believe that it's a journey that we've started and we have to go. So our customers should be patient with this. But you should never assume anything. You are off supply, report and put in the complaint. Get a complaint number as a reference point. It's better. Because sometimes you assume that it's maintenance when actually it's not. Maybe you had seen a maintenance notice last week and the maintenance has not taken place and you missed the cancellation notice. So you'll be expecting that you'll be off. So when you are off, please call in and indicate whether actually this is a fault or it's a maintenance plan. So we want our customers to work with us to become our partners in developing this. I love the model of the Ethiopians who actually donated money to build a power station for themselves as citizens. And all we ask for is ourselves is patience. The Zesco of tomorrow will definitely deliver better. We are coming out of the doldrums of backlog maintenance, backlog connections. I mean, it's the first time I've got people call me now to tell me, look, people called me to say they're coming to connect my house tomorrow. This has never happened before. The answer is yes. It has never happened before. But we're doing it. Already that is feedback. People expected load shedding to go in for 3 months. Oh no, hell no. Less than a month, 28 days, we're done. What did we do? There is a lot of work that was done in the background. Pulling back load management. In fact, if we just left things normal, we should have started load shedding late November. We didn't do it. We held back even Mamba to maintain their plant until first week of January. We were part of that plan to ensure people go through the Christmas, the festive season. There was also World Cup. We are aware that customers in Zambia love football. So we made sure the football went through. So yeah, our customers should just be tolerant with us, but do not hesitate to call in a fault whenever you are off, because you don't know what it is. Could be a fault, could be maintenance and just miss the notice. Please call in. We are better having a large statistic and have control, because if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So I'd like to measure our complaints, measure our successes, and keep going, improving Zesco.
Andy, thank you so much for joining us on tonight's episode of Malaiti Talk with Zesco. It's really an honor. We know you're a very busy man, but you created time for us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Mwemwe. I think we have also a lot of our directors who have a lot to offer. I think once in a while, call them in, talk to them independently, because we're a team. And sometimes they even explain things much better than I do.
Yes.
I think I'm just one person, but we have a good team who sits on that table and crack these problems and generate solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned to Malaiti Talk with Zesco. Our guest on today's episode was the Zesco Managing Director, Engineer Victor Benjamin Mapani, and we were discussing the Zesco strategy plan for the year 2022 to 2031. If you have any questions, you can send them to our WhatsApp number on 0977 795367. You can also get in touch with us via our Facebook, that is Zesco Limited. On Twitter, we are at Zesco Limited. YouTube, Zesco Limited. I have been your host, Chimuma Lungu. Until next week, same time, same place. Good night and God bless.